She is looking at you. But it is not a simple act of observation, not the mere registration of light and form. It is a deeper seeing. She is looking at you with her skin, which registers the stillness in the air around you. She is looking at you with her pulse, which, in the presence of your calm, finds its own steady rhythm. She is looking with that silent, ancient part of her mind, the part that predates language and responds not to words, but to energy, to substance, to presence. You have not touched her. Not the brushed knuckles of a hand, not a stray lock of her hair, not the gentle guiding pressure on the small of her back. And yet, something fundamental within her has shifted, reoriented itself toward you, as if you were a gravitational center. You understand that touch is the last and often least important part of connection. Real attraction, the kind that permeates memory and alters the very chemistry of a moment, is forged in the invisible. It begins in the quiet dominion you hold over yourself. It is an art form, not a game. And if you are ready to learn the grammar of this silent language, to understand that the ultimate form of attraction is not something you chase, but something you become, then lean in and listen. 1. The citadel of presence, the power of prosoche. The modern world is a cacophony of distraction, a relentless assault on the senses designed to fracture your attention. Men, in particular, are conditioned to live externally, chasing validation, swiping through faces on a screen, and staring past the very human being in front of them in a desperate search for the next fleeting stimulus. They exist in a state of perpetual fragmentation, their minds scattered across a dozen anxieties, ambitions, and insecurities. They are everywhere, and therefore nowhere. In this landscape of frantic, hollow men, the man who can offer his undivided presence becomes a sanctuary. He is an anchor in a storm-tossed sea. This quality, this profound and unwavering attention, is not a technique. It is a state of being. The ancient Stoics had a word for it: prosoche. It means attention, vigilance, and mindfulness directed at the present moment, at the only thing a man truly controls, his own mind. Prosoche is the cornerstone of the Stoic path, the foundational practice upon which all virtues are built. It is the continuous, sober attention to one's own thoughts, judgments, and actions. To the Stoic, the external world is largely beyond his control. He cannot control what others think of him, whether they are impressed by his wit or if they will reciprocate his interest. He cannot control the noise in the background, the outcome of the day, or the whims of fate. What can he control? He can control his response to these things. He can control his perception, his intention, and his own actions. This is the great dichotomy of control, as articulated by Epictetus, separating what is up to us from what is not up to us. The man who has truly internalized this distinction is liberated. He is freed from the crippling anxiety of needing a specific outcome. He no longer needs her to laugh at his joke, to be impressed by his story, or to feel a certain way about him. His objective is not to get a reaction, but to act with virtue, with sincerity, with kindness, with reason. Imagine the effect of this liberation on an interaction. When a man is not trying to impress, he is free to simply observe. When he is not worried about what to say next, he is free to truly listen. Tatuaners, his presence becomes a powerful, focused beam of light, not a scattered, flickering bulb. He is not just looking at her, he is seeing her. He is not just hearing her words, he is listening to the meaning beneath them, to the subtle inflections, the hesitations, the passions. He is studying the masterpiece of another human soul, not with the hungry gaze of a predator, but with the focused, appreciative eye of a connoisseur. She is not an object of desire to be conquered. She is a universe of thought and feeling to be understood. In a world where she is constantly being judged, categorized, and consumed, the man who offers her the pure, unadulterated gift of his full attention offers her a profound and intoxicating validation. He makes her feel seen, perhaps for the first time. This state of prosoch is not achieved through simple willpower. It is cultivated through rigorous mental training. It begins with slowing down. In a conversation, deliberately slow your own breathing. Feel the air enter your lungs and leave your body. Anchor yourself in this physical reality. This simple act short-circuits the nervous, chattering mind. It creates an inner stillness that radiates outward. From this place of calm, you can hold eye contact, not as a challenge, not as a predatory stare, but as an open channel of communication. Hold it longer than what feels polite by conventional standards. Let it be a quiet declaration that you are here, now, with her, and nothing else in the universe matters more in this moment. Do not break the connection. When she feels the weight of your stillness, of your undivided focus, she may become unsettled. She might fidget, adjust her hair, or look away. This is not rejection. It is the sign of a system being profoundly affected. She is accustomed to the distracted, superficial gaze of other men. Your focused presence is a force she has rarely encountered. When she looks back, and she will, it will be with a new curiosity, a new awareness. The spell has been cast. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. The world around you is a raging sea of chaos, waves of social pressure, winds of anxiety, currents of desire. The lighthouse does not fight the sea. It does not chase the ships. It does not roar back at the storm. It simply stands, grounded in its foundation, and shines its light. Its power is in its unshakable stillness, its unwavering beam. It is a point of reference, a source of guidance in the chaos. Ships are naturally drawn to its light not because the lighthouse demands it, but because of what it is. This is the nature of Stoic presence. You are not performing for her. You are simply being, fully and completely. You are demonstrating, not declaring, that you are the master of your own inner world. This self-possession, this internal sovereignty, is the most powerful aphrodisiac known to man. It communicates that you are a man of substance, a man who is not easily swayed by the shifting tides of external opinion or internal impulse. Her body, her nervous system, her soul will respond to that power. Her breath may hitch, her spine may straighten, her pupils may dilate. This is not a response to a pickup line or a physical advance. It is a subconscious recognition of safety, of strength, of a rare and profound form of masculine energy. You have touched her on a level that fingers never could. You have pierced her soul with the sheer force of your attention. And in that moment, before a single overture is made, everything has become possible. 2. The logos of connection, speaking from a place of reason. Most men talk. They fill the air with noise, a frantic broadcast of their own insecurity. They use words as a smokescreen, a tool for impression management, or a blunt instrument to get what they want. Their speech is a performance, a sales pitch, a desperate plea for validation. A few men, however, understand how to speak, and an even smaller, more elite cadre understand that the true power of speech lies not in what is said, but in the mind from which it originates. For the Stoic, Speech is an extension of the logos, the divine reason, the underlying rational structure of the universe that is reflected in the human capacity for thought and articulate expression. To speak from this place is to wield a power that can shape reality, build profound connection, and resonate in a woman's mind long after the conversation has ended. The voice that turns a woman on, that awakens her nervous system and commands her respect, is not born of vocal exercises or calculated modulation. It is the natural byproduct of an ordered mind. It is low, not because you are forcing it into a lower register, but because it emanates from a place of calm, free from the high-pitched frequency of anxiety. It is measured not because you are playing a game of pacing, but because you value your words. You understand, as the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius did, that a great deal of trouble is avoided by not saying more than is necessary. Each word is chosen with precision, for it is a reflection of your reason. You are not trying to convince her of anything, least of all your own worth. Your worth is self-evident in your composure. You are simply speaking your truth, as if the words themselves have weight, as if each syllable is a carefully laid stone in the foundation of a great structure. Contrast this with the typical male approach. There is the braggart, who loudly lists his accomplishments, his possessions, his status, believing that attraction can be bought with a resume. He fails to understand that what he projects is not confidence, but a deep-seated need for her approval. Then there is the comedian, who fires off a relentless barrage of jokes and witty remarks, desperate to entertain. He fears silence, for in silence he might be truly seen, and he doubts that what is there is enough. Finally, there is the interrogator, who asks a series of rote questions. Where are you from? What do you do? Not out of genuine interest, but as a way to fill time and follow a social script. All three are slaves to the outcome, and their words are hollow. The Stoic communicator operates from an entirely different paradigm. His questions are born of genuine prososche. When he asks about her day, it is not a perfunctory courtesy. It is an invitation. He listens to her answer not for an opening to talk about himself, but to understand her world. He might follow up with, "What was the most challenging part of that for you?" Or, "What did that experience teach you?" These are not lines from a script. They are probes into her character, her values, her inner life. He is engaging with her logos, her reason, and in doing so, he validates her intellect, not just her appearance. He might say, "I notice that when you talk about your passion for painting, your entire energy changes. It's like you light up from within." This is not flattery. It is a deep, specific observation. It tells her that he is paying attention on a level that few others ever have. He is not just seeing her, he is witnessing her. And then there is the power of silence. The man who is insecure fears the void and rushes to fill it with noise. The man who is centered in his own being understands that silence is not an absence, but a presence. It is a space for thought to crystallize, for emotion to surface, for tension to build. After you have said something of substance, or asked a meaningful question, allow your words to land. Let there be a pause. Do not fidget. Do not look away. Simply hold the space. In that silence, she is not just processing what you said, she is experiencing you. She is filling that silence with her own thoughts, her own imagination, her own growing fascination. You are giving her the room to desire you. You are demonstrating that you are so comfortable in your own skin that you do not need constant verbal reassurance. This comfort is contagious. It allows her to relax, to be herself, and to feel a sense of safety and intrigue that is profoundly attractive. When you speak, let your language be simple, direct, and honest. The Stoics were masters of plain speaking. They despised ornate, manipulative rhetoric. Say what you mean, and mean what you say. If you think she has a beautiful mind, tell her, you have a fascinating way of looking at the world. It is direct, it is sincere, and it is far more powerful than a flowery, rehearsed compliment about her eyes. When you use her name, let it hang in the air for a moment, a point of specific connection in the vastness of the conversation. You are not just speaking to a woman, you are speaking to her. This is vocal foreplay of the highest order. You are not titillating her skin, you are awakening her mind. And when a woman's mind is engaged, when she feels intellectually and emotionally seen by a man who is the calm, rational center of his own universe, her body will inevitably follow. She will lean in, not because you have beckoned her, but because the very core of her being is drawn to the resonant, unwavering frequency of your logos. 3. The fortress of equanimity, replacing teasing with integrity. In the shallow lexicon of modern seduction, you will find the concept of emotional teasing. It is a manipulative game of push-pull, of feigned interest followed by deliberate distance. The goal is to create confusion and psychological tension, to make a woman feel uncertain and thus, supposedly, more eager for your approval. This entire framework is an anathema to the Stoic mind. It is a strategy born of weakness, reliant on deception, and aimed at exploiting another person's emotional state for one's own gain. It is a violation of the cardinal virtue of justice, which demands that we treat others with fairness and respect as fellow rational beings. The man of true character does not need to play games. The powerful magnetic tension that he creates is not the result of a calculated tactic, but the natural byproduct of his philosophical commitments. He does not practice emotional teasing. He embodies what we will call the fortress of equanimity. Equanimity, or apatheia in Stoic terms, does not mean apathy or a lack of feeling. It means a state of mind unperturbed by the passions, by irrational fear, hope, desire, or grief. It is the serene calm of a mind that has fully accepted the dichotomy of control. The Stoic understands that his duty is to act with virtue, but the outcome of his actions is not up to him and is therefore a matter of indifference. This indifference is the key. It is not that he doesn't prefer a positive outcome. He may prefer that his company is enjoyed, that a connection is formed, but he does not need it. His self-worth, his tranquility, his very happiness are not dependent on it. This philosophical stance creates a behavioral pattern that can be misread by the uninitiated as a game of push-pull, but is in fact something far more profound and attractive: unwavering integrity. Let us examine how this works in practice. A man employing emotional teasing might give a woman a compliment and then immediately turn his attention away to make her feel insecure. The Stoic man, operating from his fortress of equanimity, may also offer a compliment. He might say, "That was an incredibly insightful point. You have a very sharp mind." He says this because it is true, and because expressing appreciation for another's reason is a virtuous act. Having said it, he does not linger, waiting for a specific reaction. He does not need her to blush, or to thank him effusively, or to compliment him in return. His job was to speak the truth. The outcome is not in his control. Therefore, he might naturally move the conversation to another topic, or simply fall silent, comfortable in his own thoughts. To the woman, the effect might feel similar to the manipulative tactic, but the source is entirely different, and her subconscious will register this difference. The teaser projects a nervous, calculating energy. His actions feel incongruous, creating a sense of unease. The Stoic projects a solid, integrated energy. His actions are congruent with his character. He is warm in his sincerity, the compliment, and cool in his detachment from the outcome. Moving on. This is not a contradiction. It is the sign of a man who is fully self-contained. He gives freely, without expectation of return. This is an incredibly rare and powerful experience for most people. It creates a sense of profound safety and immense curiosity. She may find herself thinking, "He seemed genuinely impressed by me, but he doesn't seem to need anything from me. Who is this man?" This is where the real, authentic tension builds. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, used the analogy of an archer to explain this principle. The archer's task is to do everything in his power to shoot well, to choose a good bow and arrow, to adopt the correct stance, to aim carefully, to release the string smoothly. This is what is up to him. However, once the arrow leaves the bow, the outcome is out of his hands. A gust of wind may blow it off course, the target may move, or the arrow shaft may be flawed. The virtuous archer, therefore, makes the act of shooting well his goal, not the act of hitting the target. He detaches his happiness from the outcome. This is the mindset you bring to every interaction. Your goal is to be the best version of yourself in that moment, to be present, to listen deeply, to speak truthfully, to act with respect. Whether she is captivated, whether she gives you her number, whether you ever see her again, this is the arrow after it has left the bow. It is an externality and therefore indifferent. When you embody this principle, you stop seeking validation. You become the source of your own validation. This projects an aura of immense strength. Men who need a woman's approval are like beggars. They are emotionally dependent. The man of equanimity is a king in his own inner kingdom. He is emotionally self-sufficient. He is willing to share his kingdom with another, but its stability does not depend on her presence. This is the ultimate come closer, now wait dynamic. But it is not a game. It is a reflection of a profound spiritual and philosophical reality. You are inviting her to engage with a man who is whole, who is free, and who offers a connection based on strength and integrity, not on neediness and manipulation. This is what she truly yearns for. Not the fleeting thrill of a game, but the deep, resonant security of a man who has built his fortress on the unshakable bedrock of his own mind. 4. The virtue of temperance, the majesty of true restraint. There will come a moment. The air will grow thick with unspoken possibilities. The space between you will become charged, a vibrant emptiness that hums with potential. Her gaze will, soften. She will lean in. Her breath will mingle with yours. Every signal in the universe, every primal instinct will scream, now. The average man, a slave to his impulses, will lunge at this moment. He will rush to close the gap, to take the kiss, to conquer the territory. He will act on raw desire, believing this is what it means to be a decisive masculine man. In doing so, he will shatter the beautiful, fragile tension that has been built. He will demonstrate that he is ruled by his appetites, not by his reason. The man of Stoic character, however, understands a deeper power, the power of restraint. And in this moment, instead of taking, he might simply hold his ground, offer a slow, knowing smile, and perhaps take a half step back. He has not rejected her. He has not said no. He has done something far more potent. he has controlled the moment by first controlling himself. And that act of masterful self-possession will make him unforgettable. This is not about playing hard to get, a juvenile tactic that is transparent and weak. This is a demonstration of the second cardinal Stoic virtue, temperance, or sophrosyne. Temperance is the virtue of self-control, of moderation, of mastering one's own desires and appetites. It is the internal discipline to act from a place of reason rather than from a place of passion. The world tells men to chase their desires, to seize what they want, to live for pleasure. Stoicism teaches that true freedom is not the freedom to indulge every whim, but the freedom from being enslaved by those whims. The man who cannot control his own impulses is not free. He is a puppet whose strings are pulled by his own biology and conditioning. The man who has cultivated temperance is a king, ruling the inner kingdom of his own mind. He experiences desire, of course. He is a man, not a stone, but he is not ruled by it. He observes the impulse to act, he examines it with his reason, and he chooses a course of action that aligns with his values. When you are in that charged moment and you choose not to act, you are communicating something incredibly powerful on a primal, subconscious level. You are showing her that you feel the immense pull of the moment, the raw, magnetic desire, but you are not a slave to it. You are its master. Every other man she has known would have been swept away by that current. They would have lost themselves. But not you. You stood firm. You demonstrated that your rational mind is stronger than your base instincts. This triggers a profound sense of respect and an even deeper form of sensual craving. She is confronted with a man who possesses a level of self-control she has likely never encountered. It is both intimidating and deeply alluring. What you resist becomes the object of obsession. By not immediately gratifying the desire, you amplify it. You give it space to grow in her imagination. The kiss that is almost taken is replayed in the mind 1,000 times, each time more vivid and more potent than the actual event could ever be. You are not just a man she was with. You have become a central character in her inner world. The eroticism of the moment is transferred from the physical to the psychological, which is an infinitely larger and more powerful arena. It is not what you do that captivates her. It's what you demonstrate you could do, but choose not to. This practice of restraint must be rooted in genuine philosophical principle, not in performative artifice. It is about respecting her agency as much as it is about mastering your own will. By not lunging, you are non-verbally communicating that you will not simply take what you want. You are creating a space for her own desire to become a conscious, deliberate choice. You are respecting her enough to allow her to meet you halfway. This elevates the encounter from a base conquest to a collaboration between two rational, sovereign individuals. It is a dance, not a wrestling match. Let your fingertips hover just above her skin without landing. Let a powerful compliment form on your lips, and then let it dissipate into a quiet smile. Let your eyes communicate a deep and powerful want, but never let your actions confirm it prematurely. This is the majesty of true restraint. It is a quiet declaration of your own freedom. You are free from neediness. You are free from impulsivity. You are free from the tyranny of the moment. You give her the most intoxicating gift of all, the fantasy of being wanted by a man of immense power, who is simultaneously so in control of that power that he can be trusted with her vulnerability. She begins to question her own control, her own composure. She finds herself wanting to be the one to bridge that gap, to break that spell. You are not chasing her. She is now chasing the feeling that your restraint has created within her. And while she replays that moment, analyzing that smile, that pause, that controlled power, you are already 3 steps ahead, grounded in the serene and unshakable fortress of your own temperate mind. You have shown her the difference between a boy who takes what he wants and a man who is worthy of being wanted. iPhone 5 and Hayes. The unveiling of character, the allure of the inner scorecard. Men, in their eagerness to be liked, often make a fatal mistake. They explain themselves. They overtalk, overshare, and lay their entire life story out like a resume on the first encounter. They are an open book, and while this may seem honest, it is often perceived as needy and, ultimately, uninteresting. The man who lingers in a woman's mind, the man she finds herself thinking about days later, is the one she doesn't fully understand. He is a man of depth and substance, whose value is not immediately apparent on the surface. His allure comes not from a manufactured persona, but from a genuine and profound sense of self that is not dependent on her or anyone else for its validation. This is the seduction of mystery, but it is not the mystery of a player or a ghost. It is the profound and compelling mystery of a man who lives by an inner scorecard. Society trains us from birth to live by an outer scorecard. Our worth is measured by our job title, our bank account, the car we drive, the approval of our peers, and the attention we receive from attractive people. We are constantly looking outside of ourselves for a reflection of our value. The man, living by this metric, is fundamentally insecure because his sense of self can be taken away at any moment. A lost job, a social misstep, a rejection, any of these can shatter his fragile ego. He is therefore constantly performing, constantly seeking applause, constantly explaining why he is worthy. The Stoic, by contrast, lives by an inner scorecard. His worth is determined by one thing and one thing only: his own character. Is he living in accordance with the virtues? Is he exercising wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance in his daily life? He is his own judge, and the courtroom is his own mind. The opinions of others are externals, and while he may listen to them, they do not determine his ultimate value. He is, in the words of Seneca, self-contained. This inner self-sufficiency is the true source of what people perceive as mystery. It is not a tactic. It is the natural state of a man who has a deep and abiding purpose that transcends any single social interaction. This man doesn't overshare not because he is being coy, but because his life is not a performance. He lets his story unfold organically, if at all. He is more interested in learning about her than in broadcasting his own achievements. He doesn't need to tell her he is confident, courageous, or kind. He simply demonstrates these qualities through his actions. His confidence is in his stillness. His courage is in his willingness to speak truthfully. His kindness is in the quality of his listening. He is revealing his character layer by layer, not through exposition, but through demonstration. She finds herself wanting to unwrap this man, but every layer she peels back reveals not a simple fact or a rehearsed anecdote, but a deeper consistency of character, a more profound sense of his inner strength. This process of discovery is infinitely more compelling than being handed a brochure. He embodies the Stoic principle of amor fati, the love of one's fate. He accepts all that happens, the pleasant and the unpleasant, as necessary and even desirable parts of his journey. This acceptance creates an unshakable foundation. The man who can embrace his fate, who does not complain or make excuses, who, takes responsibility for his own life, is a man of rare and profound power. He is unpredictable not because he is erratic, but because his actions are governed by an internal moral compass that is invisible to the outside world. He may disappear for a time, not to play a game, but because he is engaged in his work, in his studies, in the business of building his own soul. When he reappears, he is fully present, for that is his nature. This creates an emotional loop in her mind that is intensely attractive. She replays his words, not because they were slick, but because they seem to come from a place of deep thought. She analyzes his pauses, not because they were tactical, but because they seem to hold a world of unspoken meaning. She finds herself trying to figure him out, but she is not trying to solve a puzzle he has created for her. She is trying to comprehend the depth of a man who is a universe unto himself. In this process, she is not falling for a persona. She is becoming captivated by the idea of his character. And then, the beautiful twist. When this man finally does reveal something vulnerable, something personal, something of his own struggle or his deepest conviction, it has the weight of a revelation. It is not a casual fact shared to build rapport. It is a gift. It is a glimpse into the inner citadel he has so carefully guarded. She feels as though she has earned this trust, that she has been granted a rare privilege. The mystery that built, the tension finds its release not in a physical act, but in a moment of genuine, profound human connection. She has not just been seduced, she has been introduced to a better, stronger, freer way of being. This path is not easy. It is not a list of techniques to be memorized. It is a fundamental reorientation of your entire being. It is the work of a lifetime. The attraction it creates is merely a byproduct, a fortunate consequence of a far greater prize, an unshakable character, a tranquil mind, and a life of purpose and virtue. If you are ready to stop chasing the fleeting validation of the outer scorecard and begin the difficult, rewarding work of building your inner citadel, then the journey does not begin with her. It begins with you. Turn your gaze inward. The tools have been here for 2 millennia, waiting for men with the courage to use them. Begin that journey with us. The transformation awaits.